I'm the general manager of the Woodstock Chamber of Commerce. This is one of our 17 sessions that we are doing with the Small Business Center, Tourism Oxford, Rural Economic Development, and some of the other area chambers to put together for everybody for Small Business Week, because small businesses are the lifeblood of our economy. So Gabby Mueller from Tourism Oxford is going to be doing the presentation today. So she's going to teach us how to do hashtags, stories, which I totally don't understand. So I'm looking forward to this. And some of the basics for your Instagram account for business. So please, if you have a question during her session, please type it in the chat window, and then we'll get to them at the end. So we can have a good flow for the session and make sure that we get done in time. So I would welcome everybody, and I'm going to hand it over to Gabby, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim. And just before I get started, I wanted to say thank you to the Woodstock District Chamber of Commerce and the Oxford Small Business Support Center for putting this on. It's a really cool thing, and there's lots of awesome stuff happening this week, so make sure you check it out. As Kim said, my name is Gabby, and I work for Tourism Oxford. And my job there is basically content creation. So I run all the Instagram, all the social media, and I do our online content for our website, as well as our print content like Cheese Trail or anything you might have seen like that. So basically my passion is telling stories. And I'm really excited about today's workshop because Instagram really, at the end of the day, is about telling a good story and getting people to invest not only in your business, but in you as a business owner. So it's a little bit more, it's a warmer platform, I think, than some of the other big giants out there. And spoiler alert, it's much easier than you might think it is. So how today is going to work, because it's an introductory course, I'm going to start with some of the mechanics behind posting to your news feed, posting a story, using hashtags, things like that. And then we're really going to get into the meat and potatoes of the presentation, which is just going to be talking about what kind of content will resonate with your viewers on Instagram. And I've left a good chunk of time at the end of the presentation for any questions you might have. And you can also reach out to me through email or through a phone call, and we can set up a one-on-one. So just keep that in mind. And these slides will be posted at the very end. So really quickly, I just want to say, what is Instagram? Let's start there, really basic. According to them, Instagram is a free photo and video sharing app available on iPhone and Android. People can upload photos or videos to our service and share them with their followers or with a select group of friends. They can also view, comment, and like posts shared by their friends on Instagram. So basically, from that definition, it sounds like Facebook for your phone. And I'd like to put forth the argument that it's much more powerful than that. This is free advertising and storytelling right at your fingertips. So why should you have it? There are so many different platforms out there. There's TikTok, there's Facebook, there's Twitter, Reddit. I mean, there's so many platforms, and I get it. It's really hard to choose which ones to be on. But I think Instagram and then Facebook, of course, still is a giant. Those are the two most important to be on right now. And here's why. So 1 billion people use Instagram every single month. 500 million people use Instagram stories every day, and 63% of users log in daily. Now, here's where it gets, this should drive home the point. 62% of people say they become more interested in a brand after seeing it in Instagram stories. So that means if I log on to my Instagram account and I see a brand come up, and I'm flipping through stories and I see something I like, I'm way more likely to buy or to check out the website if I saw it there. And it's partly because it's a place to build trust between you and your audience. So what do you use it for? This is not a platform to come on and sell, sell, sell. I don't post posters on Instagram. I don't really post about sales. What I do is use Instagram to inspire and tell a good story. So this is really a place to capture people where maybe they haven't made an investment in your business before. Maybe they haven't bought your product or your service. They're still in that dream phase and they're still thinking about it. Okay, So I always post this photo, actually a few members of our team do, at the beginning of our presentations, because Instagram is all about your unique perspective. And if this photo doesn't say unique perspective, I'm not really sure what does. But basically I wanted to plant the seed that you want people to see your photos and stop scrolling to read about what you're talking about. So if you were coming to our Instagram, I hope if you saw this in your feed, it would make you stop and wonder what's going on here. This is Liam Kajewski from Wildlife Gardenings, and he also runs Trash Theater with his wife, Crystal. And they basically go in and they make these awesome costumes out of recycled material. So that's what's going on here. I just wanted to use it to plant that kind of seed, that if you take nothing else away today, it's that you should be bringing your voice to your Instagram account and nobody else has your voice. Okay. So let's get into just some of the mechanics. The feed. So an Instagram feed is very much like your Facebook news feed. It just shows all the posts from all the people you follow, plus a few ads because, you know, it's a platform run by Mark Zuckerberg. So of course there are ads on it. So to post to your news feed, just like on Facebook, you would go and you would create your post. So you hit this little plus sign button down at the bottom. And then from there, step number 2, you select the photo you want. So you can select one that you've already taken on your camera phone from your library, or you can open the camera in the app and take a photo or a video. Videos can be 1 minute long. What I'm going to encourage you to do is to take your photos ahead of time and not from the app. You want to take just a little bit more care and time getting a good photo rather than just taking it on the spot and doing everything instantaneously. I'd encourage you just to be a tiny bit more thoughtful. You don't have to sink your whole day into it, but just put a little bit of time. And then it'll bring you to this next screen and you can type in a caption right here where it says put your caption here. If there are any other businesses in your photo or who you'd like to see, you can tag them by hitting this and then you put their handle in the same way you would on Facebook. And if you'd like to add a location, you can do that there as well. And then you just hit share and it goes live and it'll show up in their newsfeed and also on your profile in these little tiles. Hopefully I haven't lost anybody yet, but if you do, just pop your questions in that chat box and we'll definitely get to them at the end. Great. So let's talk about what kind of posts will resonate on Instagram. And in my books, there's 4 different kinds of posts we use to really engage with our audience. The first is one that causes excitement for something that's coming and kind of causes your viewers to be a little bit anxious about something. The second is one that inspires them and allows them to envision themselves using your product or service. The third is one that tells a great story. And the fourth is one that gives you a behind the scenes look into something that they don't normally get to see. So I'm just going to go through a few examples of posts that do just that. So this is Early Bird Coffee in Woodstock, and they're introducing a new product called Coffee Sips. And basically it's like going to a brewery and getting a flight of beer. Now you can go to Early Bird and you can try small samples of all their different roasts. So 3 different roasts, and it comes with tasting notes and a few other things like that along the way. Now, before they had even introduced this product, they took a nice clean photo and posted to their Instagram feed with the caption, "Coffee Sips will soon be available for tourists and of course for our beloved locals. We wanted to create an experience similar to a flight of beer for our roasting labs and for anyone stopping by the roastery to learn about all things coffee." So right away, they got tons of comments about people who are super excited to try that, myself included. But then what is really magical about this is that I went back the next day and several times over the next week to see if it was launched yet, because they've built my anticipation and my excitement, and therefore I'm keeping tabs on this new thing that's happening at my roastery. Okay. The second post type that I was talking about is the one where it inspires your audience to envision themselves at your product or using your service. So this is a post from Ontario Travel. They're the provincial tourism team. And basically their job is to inspire travel throughout the province. So here they've posted this beautiful photo. It looks like the girl is walking through a Christmas card, basically. And right away, I don't know about you, but I'm like, where is this? I'm pretending I'm this girl. I want to walk through this Christmas card and I want to take this all in. And basically, that's the whole point. It's going to inspire travel. And I'm looking into where Temiskaming Shores is. But it doesn't necessarily have to be this beautiful place, right? Even if your business is not as visually pleasing as this, that doesn't matter. It could be a video of someone taking the first bite of a burger at your restaurant, or, I mean, even if it's something like you're a plumber, make me see what it's like to be a customer from you. What is different about working with you, and how can you portray that in a photo or a video? Okay, next, I want to introduce everybody to Phoenix. Phoenix is a little lamb that she's from Topsy Farms, and when she was born, her mom stepped on her. Now, Topsy Farms is a farm on an island just outside Kingston. It's run by hippies. And honestly, if you're looking for best practices on Instagram, they're a great account to follow because they're really breaking the mold and doing fun stuff. But what I really like about the Phoenix posts that they've been doing is they're giving us a behind the scenes look into something that we would never normally see a farm, like see at a farm. I don't know when else I'm going to get the chance to follow the physiotherapy journey of a lamb. But what it's done is I've come back to their page several times to, of course, see how Phoenix is doing. And when I do, I see photos of their products, their meat, their wool, all kinds of stuff. So it makes me want to invest, first of all, in a business that is so warm and willing to take this much time with little Phoenix here. And it's also brought me back several times. So think about what are the behind the scenes things at your business that people might be interested in seeing. And there's this quote I love. I'm so sorry, I don't know who it's from. But it says, your ordinary is somebody else's extraordinary. So just think about the things you do every day at your business that people don't see maybe when they visit your shop, because they might actually be really, really interested in that. And then finally, posts that tell a story are really popular on Instagram, and you don't have to be afraid to get creative with your writing, but also get a little bit lengthier with your writing. So on Facebook favors posts with shorter amounts of text, but Instagram is not like that. That long form post actually does really well. So think about some of the stories that you can tell from your business, whether it's a long history or what inspired you to start your business, maybe a new project that you're undertaking. Those things you might not think are interesting to people, but they are, and they really grab attention. You just have to think about how you can write it in a quirky way. A way that has your voice. So one example of that is we did a post recently about quails in Tavistock. And this restaurant, the building it's in, has been around since the early 1900s, and it's hosted tons of things. There was a bowling alley, Tavistock Gazette, a post office. So we tried to tell that story with a bit of a humorous spin. You can go check it out on our feed. But it got really great engagement, lots of likes, lots of comments. But what was really cool is the spin-off effects. And I echo this to anybody. Your Instagram account will have benefits online, but it should also have benefits that spin off to real life. So in this case, we got an article in the Tavistock Gazette. So it does have power offline as well. Okay. Now this is another mechanical thing I'm going to encourage you to look at, and that is taking advantage on your profile of this little spot where you can place a link. Now, normally you would have the link to your website in there, and you can do that. But if you really want to drive people to something different, maybe it's a blog you wrote, maybe it's a new product on your online store, or a fundraiser that you're working on, what you can do is change that link to wherever you want to drive them now, and then post about it. So here's an example we did recently. We wanted to share our blog about all the pumpkin-y things you can do this October in Oxford County. So we wrote, check out all the ways to enjoy a bit of pumpkin-y fun at the link in our bio. And that tells people to go to our profile and click that link, and that link drove them to the blog post about all the pumpkin-y stuff. Now, the reason we don't put that right in the post, put the link right in the post, is because when you post to Instagram, those links are not clickable. And the reason for that is because Instagram doesn't want people using this platform to sell through posts. It's supposed to be about short storytelling. So you've really got to get creative. And that link in the bio is one of the ways to do that. Now, if you want to get maybe a little more fancy, you can use a program called Linktree. And I'm sure there's a few other programs that do the same thing, but this is the one I'm familiar with. So that's what you're getting today. And Linktree basically takes that link in your bio so that when you click it, it brings up a list of content that people can click on. So for example, See You Soon Travel, her link in her bio leads to this page here. So you can click on video of the I can't pronounce that, but that video, fall road trips to Elora, weekend itinerary into Tecumseh. So you get it, and that will take you on from there. And setting up that account is super simple. But again, if you want my help, just reach out. So some posting best practices. First of all, you want to do your best when you're posting to your feed to post a nice, clean looking photo. You don't need a fancy camera. You can just use the one on your phone, but you do want to take some time to think about what's in the background and how you can really draw people's eye to what you want them to focus on. So for example, if I was going to post a photo of my dinner last night, which was a plate of pasta, I would make sure there's no drips on the plate. I would wipe them off. And then I would set it on my table and I would have nothing in the background, or even sometimes I set it on my floor. You can get creative. You can get creative with what's in the background, but just try to make it look tidy so that it's just more pleasing to the eye, because Instagram is a very visual space. Okay. Make use of that link in bio and just have fun. Like I said, if you get anything else from this presentation, use your voice, have fun, get creative. Okay, to hashtag or not to hashtag. It's not really a question on Instagram. You do need to be using hashtags, and I get questions about this a lot. So I thought it would be useful to kind of dive into it a little bit. So what is a hashtag? A hashtag is a word that starts with a pound sign. You likely know this, but it identifies a specific topic. So users can click that and then they'll see all the posts using that hashtag. So if I clicked hashtag you can do it, it would take me to any post that has used that hashtag you can do it in the past. So some of the hashtags that we use at Tourism Oxford are Tour Oxford. That's our house-made hashtag. Discover ON, which is the provincial travel hashtag. Explore Canada, which is the national travel hashtag. And hashtag Oxford County, which is a really popular hashtag and a good one for anyone who is in Oxford County to use. I would really encourage you to check that one out. And the hashtags are going to vary based on what you're posting about and what industry you're in. So if you need any help finding them, first look to your competition and see what they're using. And you can always reach out to us as well. But the trick is to find a hashtag that doesn't have so many posts that yours gets lost right away, but it still has some posts so people are searching it. It's kind of finding that balance, and it's going to take trial and error, but you will get there. Okay. Now let's talk about Instagram stories and highlights. This is probably my favorite part of Instagram because it's just a little bit less curated. It's a place where you can get creative, have fun, and just kind of get into the nitty-gritty of why Instagram is so awesome. Okay, so how to do it. First, you would click this camera in the top left here where the arrow is pointing to, and that's going to open the camera on your phone. From there, you can either tap that white circle in the middle, and that'll take a photo, or you can hold it down, and that will take a video. Now, if you already have something prepared on your phone, that's fine. It does need to be vertical, or else it's going to look a little bit silly. But you can tap this square in the bottom left on the second snapshot there, and that's going to bring up your photo library from your phone. And then finally, this is the fun part, you can add a bunch of stuff to it. So for example, these A's in the top corner allow you to add text, change the color, move it around. The squiggle line allows you to draw on your story. This little one that looks like a sticker is probably the most valuable. It allows you to add GIFs, location, tag people. You can ask questions or do a poll, which I'll talk about a little bit more later. This link button, I don't want to throw too much, I don't want to throw too much at you, but basically to link in your Instagram story, you need at least 10,000 followers. So don't worry about it too much, but what you can do is link to your IGTV. That's something we'll get to a little bit later. And then this smiley face with the sparkles on it is a filter. And this, the arrow with the line is to download it. So if you want to save it later, you can do so. And then you just tap the bottom left-hand circle to share the story. And don't forget, if you have any questions, just pop them in the chat box and I'll take a look at them all at the end. So what makes a great story? There are a few ways to post a great story, and I'll just go through some of my favorites right now. So it's totally fine to post an Instagram story that uses photos, but if you use video on a regular basis, that's going to typically outform photos hand over feet almost every time. Instagram favors video, people engage more with video. That's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles. So hop on your video. There's no need to like curate it. Just hop on, tell us about a new product or experience or something happened with your video. And that helps the viewer get to know you. And if you're not comfortable being the one behind the camera, that's okay. Chances are there's somebody at your business who has a really great voice for that. So an example I just wanted to show you guys is Simply Nick Nutrition. She's from Tillsonburg. She runs a nutrition business, but she also does shares recipes. She has an online store for some wellness products and stuff. But I love checking out her Instagram stories because she's just completely herself in front of the camera. She's never done up to the nines and she's very genuine. And she just hops on and says what's new, like what new products she has in her store, what recipes she's sharing. She's got her sense of humor in there. So it's definitely worth checking out because it doesn't take a ton of effort. Okay, another way to use a story, very similar to using a post, is doing one that informs, excites, and causes anticipation. And if you're going to do that, it's very important that it's also consistent. So my favorite example is actually from my local donut shop that I have ordered from probably too many times during COVID. But so every Monday night, they post their first story and it says this week's flavors. And then they go through and post about 5 or 6 different photos of all the new flavors that they have that week. And you better believe it's there every Monday night. I never have to wait for it. I know when it's going to show up, and then I pre-order the donuts. So I think it causes a lot of excitement, but if they weren't being consistent, it wouldn't have that same effect. And that is kind of a model that could basically be duplicated by any business that is putting out new product or new services. Okay, a great story engages with the audience. So don't be afraid to use polls and questions, which are found under that sticker bar. I'll just go back and show you. It's right here, the pink arrow on the right-hand screen, the little square that looks like a sticker. And in there, you'll find you can ask questions or you can do polls. So an example of this is La Petite Chapel in Innerkip. It's this new wedding venue. They asked people, how much do we love the idea of monthly trivia nights at Chapelle? And the average answer was 100%. So of course they're going to go ahead with it. But had the answer come back at maybe 30%, they might have chosen not to go ahead with the event because it might not be popular. So it's a great way to source data from your potential customers. Another example would be if the donut shop I just showed you said, do you guys like blue sprinkle or mint chocolate chip donuts better? And you could pick, and then they may base that week's donut flavors on whatever answer was more popular. So best practices for stories. Use video. Be yourself. Again, nobody else has your voice. You're going to see that so many times throughout this presentation. And tag other businesses that you're talking about. So that allows them to add your stories to theirs. Okay. Instagram highlights. So this is a place where you can keep and sort the stories that you think will be relevant for people in the future. So I have 3 examples here of people who are using this really, really well. So Shaw's Ice Cream, they use their Instagram highlights to answer the most basic questions that people probably ask them all the time. So people can visit their page and that information is going to be right there. So if you click where to buy, it's all their stories featuring the stores where their ice cream is available. Flavors, of course, showcases their flavors. Hours is the hours they're open, and that is something any of you guys could do. Just post a story about when you're open and make it a highlight, and that's actually a really great way to use it, and frequently ask questions. Apple Pie Trail did something a little different. This was, of course, before Thanksgiving that I took this screenshot, but they had a highlight about all the things you could do along the Apple Pie Trail for Thanksgiving, some of the restaurants, some of the cideries, and then a list of the stops along the Apple Pie Trail. And then at Tourism Oxford, we do something a little bit different as well. And we feature kind of our highlighted itineraries for the time. So right now you could do a road trip through Ostrander or Zora or Trilsenberg. And then we've also got a highlight here for recent visits. So you could go in there and see the places that we've been recently and what they look like right now during COVID-19 and kind of some of their safety protocols. So best practices for highlights. Think about it practically. What questions can you answer for your customer base? And then what's the best way to sort that? Bonus points if you can make it pretty. We use Canva to do that, but you can use there's a number of softwares you can use, Photoshop, anything like that. You can even make them right in Instagram. So reach out if you need help, but I think you'll figure it out. Okay, so let's talk about content and giving people what they want. So keeping the conversation going is probably the second most important thing on Instagram. It's all about engagement. You can post a beautiful photo with thousands of likes and hundreds of comments, but if you're not commenting back and answering questions for people, you've missed a huge opportunity. So that's really important. And just to give you an example, we recently posted this photo of the Great Trail heading out of Tillsonburg. Somebody asked, where does this trail start in Tillsonburg? And we were able to answer them. They were able to head out onto the trail. And we answered them in a really timely manner in our own voice. Or this person who said, look, this looks like a great adventure. And we suggested some stops nearby. Okay. Like I said, the best content has your voice. And I had kind of alluded to earlier that it doesn't necessarily have to be your voice, but somebody at your business is probably a great storyteller. I wish I had included it in the slideshow, but their Tillsonburg Garden Gate was a really great example of this throughout COVID. They didn't use the owners as the face of their business. They actually used one of the staff members' little sons. He was probably around 7, and he would do weekly garden updates and give tips about taking care of your plants. And it was just so cute and really, really engaging, and it did really, really well. I think they did it on Facebook too, so it's worth checking out. But basically, nobody else has to say exactly what you have to say. So just be you, tell your story, and make them feel like they're a part of something. So Cindy at Chocolate Tea here on the top is an awesome example of that. For anybody who has ever met Cindy, she's probably one of the warmest, smiliest people you'll ever meet. And she really brings that voice to her Instagram feed. The example I have here says, we are open today 10 to 3. It sure feels good to be back. I've missed all of you. If you miss us today, we are back every Saturday, smiley face, which is so Cindy. It's crazy. And it makes you feel warm. It makes you feel like she really does want you to come into the shop and check it out and just visit with her. She's not telling you, oh, we've got tons of new chocolate on sale. I'll find that out when I get there. Scotch and Lace in Woodstock is another really good example of this. And what I love about their account, and I mean this in the best way possible, is that they have really embraced how completely weird they are. And it's awesome. Like last year, they did this contest where Marnie, one of the owners, went around Woodstock. They created a fake account. She dressed up as E.T. and you had to guess who it was. So she's really kind of just embraced how quirky she is, and it got tons of engagement, and the winner got a prize to Scotch and Lace. And as a result, they got some new customers as well as some returning customers. And partnership. Partnership is something that goes over amazingly well on all social platforms, but especially on Instagram. People do not want to see you bad-mouthing your competition. They want to see you talking about co-opetition. Who are the other awesome people in your area? They want to see that you're part of a community so that they can feel part of a community. So this is a great example. Guns Hill Artisan Cheese has a few of their cheeses on the menu over at Big D's Sandwich Shack in Woodstock. So they shouted out to him in this post recently, and then they tagged him, Big D's Sandwich Shack. And what that does is allow him to add this post right to his story. He'll get a notification, he can add it to his story, and then they're both benefiting from each other's audience. So to tag people, it's the same as on Facebook. Okay. Before we take questions and stuff, I just want to talk a little bit about Instagram right now in light of COVID-19 and some of the things I feel that it's really important to have on your Instagram page, especially if people are coming into your business or you're coming into their homes, anything like that, where people are going to have contact with you. It's now more than ever important for you to inform your customers and make them feel safe. And one way to do this is through your Instagram stories and highlights. So a great example is Hemans in Thorndale, which is just outside of London. They've got a big greenhouse there. And when they reopened, because greenhouses are one of the first things, they wanted to make sure that people knew their safety protocols in advance. So they created a story and it has all the guidelines of what you're expected to do. Stay home if you're sick, 1 to 2 people per household, wear a mask, all sorts of things. And what that did, it didn't only make the clients feel safe, but it also put some of the onus onto them, right? So that there's responsibility on both sides of the fence. So that's important because people are being a little bit more particular about the places that they visit right now. They're less likely to go in and browse. So you need to make them feel safe and show them what it's like to visit. So visually speaking, you also need to show them not just your rules, but also what it's like. So I've heard a lot of feedback lately from people saying, oh, I saw a video on Instagram and the owner wasn't wearing a mask, or the owner was standing really close to one of the customers. And the thing is, that owner not wearing the mask could have been in the shop alone, or that customer might have been their mom in their social circle, but that type of context is not available on Instagram. So you really need to show the expectation of what it's like at your business visually. Wear a mask in your videos and in your photographs. Maintain 6 feet of distance, because like I said, making them feel safe is super duper duper important. Very Licious Fruit Farms out of Woodstock did a great job on their Instagram and their Facebook with this. This is a photo of them at the Covent Garden Market in London. And right away, you can see the staff member is masked up, even though he's outside. And they've got 2 hand sanitizers. So to me, as the viewer, I'm thinking they're taking this thing seriously. They're taking my safety seriously. And I want to do the same in return. Particularly as we head into the holiday season, it's important to keep in mind that people are not going to be browsing around like they normally do. We're not loitering around malls. We're not heading into stops and spending a half an hour. So using Instagram posts and stories to show what product you have in store and get people excited is a really, really good idea, so that they know when they come in, they can get that product, or maybe they can buy it online. So doing a video tour of your store is a great idea. But no matter what, just make it really clear what their options are. Contactless pickup, shop in store, shop online, whatever it is, they just need to know and be able to plan accordingly. So I want to just shout out this post from Dwell for a couple different reasons. First, it's a nice clean photo, just some inspiration there. But then the caption, let's talk statement pieces, because these beauties are a must-have. Imagine a fresh face, simple outfit, and these, perfect for bringing some texture and life to any outfit. So with that first part of the caption, I'm already envisioning myself or whoever I'm getting a gift in those earrings, because they've set up the photo for me in my head. And then they say available online and in store now. So I know I can hop on their website, buy it, bing, bang, boom, done. Very little planning on my end. They help me do it all. Okay. I'll mention these things, which you can look into, but I would recommend nailing down the other parts of this presentation first. So I'll call this kind of Instagram 102, and I'm just going to mention them. And if you have questions, we can set up a meeting or whatever you'd like. Things to look into. IGTV, basically this is a part on your profile, a tab on your profile you can go to, and you're able to post videos in there. On your feed, you can post videos that are up to 1 minute, but on IGTV, your videos can be up to 10 minutes. You can also use those videos and swipe up to a website, which you can't do through stories unless you have 10,000 followers. So we use this summer for our How To at Home series, which featured a different business owner every week, teaching us how to do something like create the perfect French press coffee or what have you. And we created a series of longer videos that we could drive people to. And then a new thing on Instagram is Instagram Reels. And basically it's like TikTok. You can edit a video right in Instagram, clip it down, combine a few clips, add some music and upload it. So that's a fun one to play around with on your personal page too. And then maybe when you get the hang of it, think about implementing it for your business. Okay, I will maybe take this time to stop and ask if there are any questions. So, see if I can bring up the chat box here. Okay. Oh, first question is, yeah, I can't add I don't have a video camera, sorry guys. So for photo editing, someone said, what program did you say you use for photo editing? I use Snapseed. It's just a third-party app you can download. It's free, and it allows you to change the levels in your photos, all kinds of stuff that any sort of photo editing app. And then I also just edit a bunch of photos in Instagram, and then I save them because I find their editor tool is actually really straightforward to use. I just don't like to do it all right on the spot. What percentage of photos do you need to text photos like quotes? Okay, so for me, on our feed, we don't do any text photos. I just find that they don't ever get the same engagement as non-text photos, but that is not the case for everyone. If you find that your viewers really resonate with inspirational quotes, I know there are some brands that do really well with them, then test it out, see how they do, and if they do really well, keep posting them. I generally post 2 to 3 times to our feed. And yeah, like I said, we don't necessarily use any text, but that's not necessarily true that it's not right for you. Yeah, that's what I would say about that. But if you are going to use text, make sure it's pleasing. Are you able to post for a computer, or is it only available on your phone? There are third-party apps you can use to post from your computer, but if you're not using those, you need to be on your phone. And I think you'll find the phone is much less clunky than some of those apps that are available out there. Okay, let's see, sorry. Are you able, oh, sorry. Do you use your own photos and videos, or can you use stock photos? What's your opinion? You can use stock photos, but I wouldn't. Just speaking from my own experience, I can spot a stock photo a mile away, I would say. And people really just want you to be genuine. So it doesn't, if you're not a great photographer, that's okay. There are a few simple tricks, like I said, just cleaning out the background on your photos. But yeah, I would stay away from using stock photos on Instagram. What is the reasonable rhythm for your posting? Maybe, Lily, could you clarify what you mean by that maybe? Or do you mean how often I post? If you do, I usually post 2 or 3 times a week. But if you can only get it once a week, that's okay. That's okay. Just do what you can. Yes, I'm going to come back to the one about IGTV and Instagram Reels at the end, if that's okay. How often do we post? Daily, weekly? So the optimal amount of time, like I said, I post 2 or 3 times a week to my feed. Stories, I try to post, and I don't always get there. And if you check our Instagram right now, you'll see that I didn't today. I try to post almost 5 a day. The optimal, I post 3 to 5 a day. The optimal amount is 5 to 7. That's where you're really going to start to see the numbers tick up and your engagement tick up. But again, just do what you can. Does time of day matter for posting? Yep. So just like on Facebook, I don't know if you guys have dove into your Insights tab, but once you've changed your Instagram account over to a business account, you get access to the same insights you would. They're a little bit more basic, but you can see when your best time to post is and what's engaging people most. It's a little bit of trial and error. I generally find either like 6 a.m. when people are getting ready for work, 6 or 7, and then 8 or 9 at night is when our posts do best, but that's not necessarily the case for everyone. And a lot of people are also scrolling through Instagram right after lunch. I don't know if there's just like a dip in energy and everyone is on their phones, but yeah. FYI, Facebook Studio works well for Facebook and Instagram from your computer. That's great. So for the person that was asking about posting to your Instagram feed from your computer, Steve, thank you for that suggestion. Do you use posting schedules? Posting schedule software. So what I do for Instagram is all native posting. And the reason for that is I was using Hootsuite to schedule my posts, and I still do that for Twitter and for Facebook ahead of time. But I found that I saw a huge drop in engagement when I was doing that for Instagram. So my best guess at that is because the algorithm favors posts that are posted natively right from the app, right? They want you to use their software. So I would recommend maybe planning out your posts ahead of time, write them down or type them out in a calendar, and then setting a reminder in your phone to post them. What's the best photo aspect ratio for Instagram? 1:1, square photos. You can now have the option to zoom out a bit and do a wide lens photo once in a while if you want to show more. But I think the square photos do better and they fit on your feed. You're not gonna, if you post a square photo, you know what you're gonna get with the tiles on your feed. You're welcome. I think that's okay. So I'll go over IGTV and Instagram Reels again, because we did have a question about that. So basically I called this Instagram 102 because I would say nail the other stuff down first. And then if you feel like you're ready, dive into IGTV and Reels. So IGTV, when you're I should rewind. When you're posting to just your normal Instagram feed, you're allowed to post videos that are up to a minute. On IGTV, you can post a video that is up to 10 minutes long. It should be vertical, so just the way you would normally hold your phone. And then you can also have the option to swipe up to a link, which you only have on Instagram stories if you have over 10,000 followers. So that's a good one. We used it to create a video series this summer because we wanted to highlight some longer videos. So we used it it's called How to at Home. And every week we posted a video with a different Oxford County business showing us how to do something cool while remaining physically distant at home. So for example, we did how to make the best French press coffee with Todd at Kintor Coffee. And then Instagram Reels is it's like TikTok if you've ever been on there. Basically, it's you can edit like a bunch of short video clips together. And then on personal Instagram, you can add music, but you don't really have that option on business Instagram. You just kind of play around with it. Like it's fun, but it hasn't taken off yet the same way TikTok has. So I wouldn't put a lot of pressure on yourself to be on there, but it's something to goof around with because I'm sure it will grow. And if you have the time, you might as well. Bring this chat back up. Okay, good. Oh, I'm glad it was helpful. Any other questions? Is there a limit for posting in Instagram stories? What do you recommend? So there's a time limit, but you can keep holding down the button and basically it'll just break it up into separate stories so people can keep tapping through to see the photo. So, and if there is a limit for how many you can post, I've never reached it. Music on posts. How do you do that? And Boomerang. Okay, so music on a post is only, I'm just trying to think what, so if it's music, like, do you mean in your newsfeed? Or do you mean on stories? Okay, I'm gonna guess that you mean on stories. Okay, that's great. So on Instagram stories, to add music, you need a personal account, right? So once you go into music, adding music on a business account, all those are copyrighted. So they don't give you access to like the good stuff. And I'm just gonna pull up because I don't think they actually really give you access to anything, but I'm just double checking. Yeah, the music option isn't even there on stories for Instagram, but for personal, you would just hold down, you take your video, and then you would click that little square guy in the top that looks like a sticker. And if you scroll down, you hit music, and then it'll bring up a list and you can search for what you want and then add music to it. And then to do, oh, somebody asked about a boomerang, which is super fun. So you would pull up your story, and then there's a symbol and it looks sort of like an infinity symbol. And you would hit that, and then you can take a video and it'll stop you and it'll like flip your camera back and forth. So it's like a short video clip that repeats itself on a loop. Do stories disappear after a time, or do they stay like regular posts? Stories disappear after 24 hours unless you add them to a highlight, which is an option when you post the story. But also if you forgot to save it to a highlight, you can go to your profile and there's 3 lines in the top right corner, and you hit archive and it'll show you all your past stories and give you the option to add them to that highlight. Yeah, I think I answered. Is there any other questions? Okay, I think I've got oh wait. Great presentation. Thank you, Kim. So if you do have further questions, that's no problem. You can get in contact with me. And then I will also post the link to these slides. You can add me on LinkedIn, give me a call, we'll book a meeting, we'll chat, and we can address whatever you want to know on Instagram. I'm going to post the link right now in the chat. I posted it at the beginning as well. One sec. You can get all those slides right there. Thank you to everyone who came out. I do want to give a quick plug, if that's okay, Kim,
Yes,
to the Spark Mentorship Program, the Ontario Tourism Innovation Lab. It's a really exciting program. They're bringing it to Oxford County. And basically, if you have a new tourism idea that you want to bring to life, you can pitch it to them. Like, it's kind of like Dragon's Den. You pitch your idea to a committee, and then they have some grant money they're giving out, as well as mentorship to help that program come to life. So there's a link in the slide to register for either of the info sessions, but they're also on our Facebook page calendar of events if you are interested.
Do you have time for one more quick question?
Absolutely.
It's about how to grow followers on a new account. We've got a couple. We have a couple of people that have asked that same question.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So how to grow your followers? First of all, I would preface it by saying you don't need to worry as much about how many followers as you think you did. I mean, I'd rather see an account that has 2,000 followers that are really dedicated any day than 10,000 followers that don't really give a hoot about what you're posting. But if you're starting a new account, some really good ways to get some followers is first, engage with other accounts in your industry. People like seeing when businesses are commenting and liking other posts of the same industry and are engaged within that community. That's one way. Another way is to host an Instagram giveaway contest. And I know it's not something you need to be doing all the time. I generally don't encourage contests just because I don't think it's always the best way to grow followers, but if you're starting from zero, that can be a really great way. Tag, it doesn't have to be a huge giveaway either. If say you're a photographer, tag a friend and I'll do a mini session. I'll pick a name and do a mini session. So encouraging them to tag their friends so that they also see the post and follow the post. Yeah, those would be my two main recommendations. I'm not sure if the recording for this will be available, Kim, but the slides are available. I put the link just above there, Derek. Perfect.
I am putting something in the chat box. Send me an email. Email to gm@woodstockchamber.ca, and I'm putting it in the chat box. If you want a copy of the presentation, like the recording of the presentation.
That's great.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, and feel free to connect. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening.
Yes. And Gabby will be with us tomorrow for our Facebook presentation, same type of thing. So I hope you found this helpful. I found it very helpful. Any questions, you know how to get in touch with Gabby. And maybe we'll think about sometime down the future, once we get a handle on 101, maybe we'll get Gabby to come back and do one on 102.
Sounds great.
Instagram. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And I will maybe see you later this week. Okay.
Awesome.
Great.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.